nebude. Takže buď v klidu. Enjoy.
Trying to hear some of the table talk going on.
Yeah.
Ace-10 suited, shimmy on the hijack. Sitting on 4 million. 40 big blinds.
Just the min raise, 200,000, effective enough.
What do you play, Yoni?
Fine hand, Ace-10 of
7?
diamonds.
Miss the old days, the old 3x raise, and then the re-raise was 3x your raise.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we might have a little action here. Chip leader Kabrhel now from the small blind, 2 9s.
He knows Ole is tricky enough to be raising with a wide range of hands on the hijack here. 9s is likely the best hand.
This down is yours, yeah? Sorry.
A lot of players choose to
up you are
3-bet
down,
here,
okay,
but he
deal.
could just call out of position, keep the pot small.
It'll take about 10 minutes before that decision is made as Kabrhel sits back, has a drink of water,
200 from
little
Ole.
conversation.
Now he's on
Think
tilt
back, he
after
told
losing
the older
match.
gentleman, "Don't waste my time," when he was taking coming from
Ole, how
him.
are you today? You sleep well? You know what? I think I play with you.
Now this is something.
I'm gonna call that obvious bluff.
Electing
We
not
need
to
bring
3-bet.
Yoni in. Yeah,
Just a
it
call.
worked.
Now Jokamainen with
It
a
worked.
tremendous price, 6-5
Okay,
of
Ole,
hearts.
either I win or you win.
This was
okay?
actually my favorite hand for a while, and I got it on a chain. Had aces
Let's do
and
that.
6-5 of hearts. Oh, suited.
Finish
that
money.
exact suit.
Oh my. Lights, camera, action. Jokamainen now flops trips. Shimeon with the nut flush draw and Kabrhel with the overpair to the board.
Kabrhel was saying, "Let's let Yoni in." He got what he wanted, I guess.
Oh, did he ever?
Man, if only Kabrhel didn't have the 9 of diamonds in his hand, we'd have a joker. The 9 of diamonds.
And I think that action has checked over to Shimeon, unless Kabrhel has yet to act on this flop.
I don't think Kabrhel's acted. He's still got his hand in that position, ready to either do that or do something.
It
Yeah, there
doesn't
he goes.
surprise me. Here we go, reaching. Very deliberate. He takes his time every step of the way.
$320.
It's the kind of spot if you're Yoni with 3 5s, you could raise here to protect against the diamonds, but it's not likely. It's the kind of spot where I think you want to bring your opponent in behind you or induce him to do something. I think we're going to see just a call here. Doesn't want to give away the strength of his hand too much.
Yeah, and I think he would do that with an 8 as well. Various draws, and Shimeon now decision time.
Yeah, I mean, from Shimeon's point of view, this is a great spot to squeeze. You know that Martin has to worry about the call behind him, so it kind of incentivizes him to get out if you choose to raise.
Looks like he's just going to go ahead
Just
and
a
make
call.
the call. Perhaps concerned about Jokamainen.
Yeah, it's a definite concern. You're in position. You get to proceed with some new information on the turn. Ooh.
Oh, my.
I think Martin will slow down here. Does know the nut flush draw is likely behind. Not likely, but it's something to worry about, which means the ace repaired them. You did bet and get called in 2 spots. Can't love your 9s here.
Yeah, perhaps getting bailed out now with this turn card. He's recognizing that Jokamainen absolutely can have a 5. And Shimeon certainly could have had a hand like 2 aces that would have played as just like this as well.
Yes, Shimeon was the pre-flop raiser.
We may be here a while before Kabrhel makes up his mind here on the turn. We'll expect a check, but who knows? Yeah, another look.
We need shot clocks at these final tables. There's a lot of call for that at the World Series that just happened in Vegas.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm a big proponent of it. I think it would be great, but I act fast.
It's hard to believe it's still on Kabrhel. There it is, a very lengthy check. And these players are all used to Martin Kabrhel and his antics and his tanking. See what Jokamainen decides.
Now you notice, I think Ole was really studying Yoni. He knows that a 5 is in his range. He was in the big blind. It was, you know, good price to call pre-flop. Just called on the flop. He's really studying his opponent here.
Yeah, at this point, that is his key concern is Jokamainen right now in this hand. He's not necessarily worried about Martin Kabrhel. It's this guy that's reaching, and it looks healthy. 1 million.
And I think Jokamainen's targeting an ace. You know, he's betting here just in case his opponent happened to have the nut flush draw. And he knows Ole's good enough to check that back. Wants to get some value here while he can.
And it is 800,000 to go for Jokamainen. We can see that Ole Simeon unlikely to consider folding the strength of his hand. He's turned a pair. He's got the nut flush draw to go along with it.
Yeah, and there's no reason for him to raise here. He knows if he raises, he's raising out all the hands he's beating, only getting called if he's beat by something like trips or a better kicker. So just going to call here. Kabrhel's going to take his time and probably fold. Yeah, oh, pretty quick.
Yeah.
Proud of him.
Thank goodness.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. What a turn card. What a turn card. Little did Ole know that was actually his perfect card. A diamond he would have wanted, but it probably doesn't get the action. This here probably gets a little bet or a call if he does.
Yeah, Jokamainen likely just going to check. I would assume you have to be concerned about that very holding that Simeon has, the ace-X of diamonds. As he's just gone runner to make a bigger full house. And David, is there a world in which Jokamainen could consider some sort of blocker sizing?
You know, I think you could. It's more of kind of like a blocker's value, get paid. But like, what is your opponent calling with, right? Do you think Ole has an 8 and he was calling this whole time? If anything, his likely range is some kind of flush draw, some kind of draw maybe. You would hope he doesn't have the ace, but if he has the other draws, he's probably not paying you off. So
could he ever have 10s through kings and if has played his hand just like this that we could be targeting with this 5?
He could, but I think you're better off trying to induce a bluff out of him or like some kind of value bet. He's likely not making. It's just a weird spot, to be honest.
He does come with a blocker sizing bet. 800,000 again now on the river for Jokamainen. And he is about to be in a world of pain, assuming that Simeon is going to move it in or at least raise.
Yeah, he's got about 2.7 behind. The pot here is 4 million. He could move all in here. You know, if you move all in, he's really just targeting a 5. He's like, you know, did my opponent have a 5 and I get lucky on him? But what else could he have that he played this way?
Yeah, it looks like a 5 all day.
You have the ace of diamonds.
What a hand to kick things off as we can see Simeon now contemplating when to move all the chips in the middle, and Jokamainen will in fact have a decision to make. Would Simeon have ever done this with a missed king-high flush draw?
And like even if he had pocket 8s, you just outdrew that hand too. So, you know, and there's no way he played pocket 5s the way that hand went down. So there's no way you're ever worried about anything. I think you just move in here. He could make some sort of small raise, but it's better to go for the home run. Looks more bluffy, probably gets paid off. You want to get maximum value if you are going to get called.
Perhaps a leveling more of sorts, as Jokamainen will in fact have a decision to make when Simeon moves it in. Would Simeon do this with any bluffs? That's all we would beat.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there is some world where he could have ace-8. I doubt it, but like he could have called with the ace-8 in the blind. He would have called the flop with the ace-8, turned 2-pair, would have let out again. So there is a world where he could have the ace-8. You do have the third ace, so it's pretty hard for your opponent to have ace-8 here. But it is a possibility. Something you could think about.
And he's just going to call.
I think he thought what I just said about the ace-8. Ace-8 is a possibility. Right, your opponent would play ace-8 the exact same way. Like
Wow. He's got about 2.8, maybe.
Good name.
No, he's got 4.7 million. Excuse me, as he continues to accumulate.
Axel, I use Tom, but it's
So a
Tom
great
Axel, yeah.
Axel works too,
Start
but-
to this final table for
always only use
Ibiavetsky.
Okay.
yeah,
My
started with
mom used
1.2,
I like Axel though.
almost
Yeah,
4x his stack.
My parents use
Speaking of great starts, Ole Shimeon now. Pocket nines.
I like three-letter name only. So on this table, I have only 2 favorites.
It's Mark and Tony and Tom.
Tony? What do you mean Tony? He's not Tony.
Almost.
Almost.
It's like insult, but it's okay. He can stand it. He was sleeping bad,
Barely.
so it's
I can barely stand it.
Think he gets tired,
no big difference.
Need a painkiller.
Martin?
Painkiller somewhere.
You know, he seems like a trained talking professional.
I always call you Tony.
Johnny.
Johnny.
Jay, yeah.
Johnny.
I always call you Tony. He says, no, it's
But I
Yoni with a
always say
J.
Tony, so
But
I-
his nickname is Tony, so it's okay.
His
Yoni
nickname is
Tony.
Tony. Look at this. Martin, ace-king against Ole's open with 2 9s. Going to see some fireworks here. He's in the big blind. He is out of position. I've seen players in this spot sometimes call to disguise the strength of their hand, but I think as active as he's been,
A little under.
he'll likely 3-bet. He's kind of has this little thing going on with Ole too. It's more of talk, but I think we might see it happen on the felt here.
I don't know what the theoretical
Obvious bluff.
play would be, and I think it might be
Always
just
bluffing,
this,
but
given the
you think I'm
ICM
always bluffing, or-
scenario,
Yeah,
right?
both-handed
You don't want to
me,
get
so-
into a massive pot with
Sure, no problem.
ace-king against a guy
You
who's
have
second
worse
in
card than me,
chips.
it's bluff.
Well, but you have
That
ace-king.
was
It's a
how it was
very
in
strong
practice.
hand.
It
Your
is.
opponent
Or
doesn't want to
event,
get in it
so
with
it's
you,
not-
Right.
you know, a lot of the times too. But
I'm gonna check it blind just to make it easy for Yoni.
I don't think he
Okay,
checked
Yoni?
it blind. I'm pretty sure I saw him look at that flop. It
Yoni
came
did
king
best.
high.
Very good move.
The best top 150 player
And a
in
well-disguised hand
in
for Martin
Kielo.
Kabrhel.
yeah, you can't really put your
Correct.
opponent on a strong king, if a king at all. They're likely not calling with weak kings, so you got to think
I
your
did check
9s are the
blind.
best here.
He's betting, so tell me the size, and I probably gonna raise. What is it? 140. Oh, it's so small I can't even raise it. Why
I
so
like it.
small? Maybe I have some draw.
Let's see how
Flush draw,
Kabrhel decides
Which
to
one?
proceed.
Best one.
Diamonds. Diamonds are forever. Diamonds are forever.
I feel like when he does this, he has it. You know,
Forty.
with the ace deuce, he didn't do all
It's like
this. He
an
just-
ante, so
You were right earlier, no
call
doubt.
the ante and let's play from turn some poker, okay? Some man bet. This is like kindergarten bet.
kindergarten bet.
Correct? Correct, yeah?
The upside down 9, a 6 now on the turn. Safe card for Kabrhel. Nearly $1 million now in the middle as the top 2 in chips continue to tangle.
I wonder if he's going to just donk bet into him. A lot of the times when your opponent c-bets that flop, they check it back on the turn. He might want to get some value with his ace-king. Try to target middling pairs.
It's gotten awfully quiet for Kabrhel. Has yet to decide. Action is still on Kabrhel in the big blind with ace-king.
He likes to talk when it's your opponent's turn to act, you know.
Shimeon is just locked on, has not even blinked. Continues to stare a hole right into Kabrhel's soul.
Here we go. He's sizing up a bet. That's what I talked about here, I think. He knows that his likely action from his opponent is to check back. Wants to get value from that king. 800,000 cutting out. The pot has 990. Full pot size bet coming up. Looks like he cut out 9. 8, 9, 990. He's betting actual pot. puts it back. Oh, be careful with that move. It looked like might have been a check there.
I don't know what that was. I can't believe he hasn't acted yet.
Ihan vitun karmeeta. Miksi pitää ottaa noin pelle?
Can I call the clock?
I'll go take a shower, probably. Se on nytkin 3 minuuttia tänkistä tosi.
After like every time
You did not check, right?
and you call a shot clock or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the only one now saying about it. You should
You did?
like be with me and yeah. I mean, it's
Thank
not.
you. That was very helpful.
Up, here he goes. Back to that bet he had cut out, I think, the 990. $50, $75, 760.
And finally, a bet or something, anything from Kabrhel.
Pretty large bet.
26 minutes into the hand.
Pretty large bet. If you're Ole here, I mean, if I'm Ole here, I'm thoroughly confused. You know, we can see the hands. We know that when Martin's acted like this, he's always had something, but you can't really give it up. He could just be leading with his 6, or he could pick up a draw. He could have something like 4-5, picked up clubs with a pair. Just his range includes too many hands you are beating. No reason to raise here with the 9, though.
River shuffle call. Ole. River shuffle call, Ole. Maybe. Maybe, baby.
Ace of clubs is interesting, right? Because if it was any other ace, you know, your opponent could have been making a bet with like the ace-high flush draw.
And this ace of clubs in particular might get Simeon off the hand.
Right,
If
'cause if he bets
Kabrhel led
again-
like with a 5x of clubs or some sort of combo draw, that now comes home.
He could have made the flush. He could have been. He's likely not bluffing into you if he doesn't have the ace with like a missed straight draw. Because he has to worry if that's, you know, your holdings had the ace high when you raised pre-flop. So I think if he gets a bet here, Simeon will get away from it.
Well, we saw how long the turn took, so I can't even fathom how long this river decision will be for Kabrhel. Can I get you something to drink or eat? I'm going to run to the kitchen.
It's the water out. Think about this. This is hand 11.
Unreasonable. Very
Is it?
unreasonable.
What do you guys think?
Not really.
I don't think it is.
No.
I rarely do it.
It's crazy unreasonable. Crazy unreasonable.
Ask
Huge pot.
the other guys. Ask
Please, can you be quiet? Thank you.
Oh, dear.
I don't even know what to say.
It's huge pot and it's like nonsense. It's complete nonsense. Unbelievable. You already give me 30 seconds? Ah, okay, sorry, okay.
It's brutal when you're Ole in this pot, right? Because I always feel, it's brutal for everyone because you don't want to call the clock and screw with the opponent of the guy taking time, right? You want him to make that decision, but then he doesn't want to do it because he doesn't want to give away or sway. So it's kind of like somebody has to do it, but you feel bad because you like, what if you do it and the guy, his opponent was like, hey, why'd you do that?
I mean, I did it, David. I called the clock.
You phoned it in.
I called the clock. I can't take it any longer.
That's why the suit's there. He's like, Hanks phoned it in, boys. I'm here. Clock.
Something tells me this tournament director has dealt with Kabrhel's shenanigans before.
Well, this is his home casino, right?
Yeah.
He's got, I think all his wins have come here. Both his bracelets and his rings, his circuit rings. Someone said that.
Have they started the 30 seconds yet?
No. Oh, they did.
1.6.
Oh, my gosh. 1.6 million now as he takes almost the full time, and I guarantee you Simeon's going to act a little faster, and he's just going to throw it in the muck, hand over.
So I'm going to call the clock on you now too.
Why?
I'm not the only one here thinking that's.
What do you think?
Class act, though, Simeon. He folds immediately.
spot.
You know?
6 times this level.
Especially under this river, you can always shove there and like.
Anyway, I'm just going to call the clock on you very frequently now.
Good for you.
Okay.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable, he says.
500 turbo, guys, if you have like no patience. What?
Unfortunately for these guys, they're only getting about 10 hands a level.
And I have that decision, yeah?
If you're just tuning in, I'm Brent Hanks, joined by David Williams here in the booth. Make sure you like and subscribe to the World Series of Poker YouTube page. And for all the folks tuning in on Poker Go, welcome you as well to the broadcast.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I need to work, man.
It's actually not in his best interest to kill the clock and get the blinds up. As when you're the big stack, as the stacks get shallower overall, it's worse for you because all it takes is just a quick double and, you know, everybody's even. So it's in his best interest to keep these levels going. 2 tens now.
2 tens, yeah.
It's unbelievable, the hands he's
Very
got.
nice hand, Martin.
Sorry?
Very nice hand.
Thank you.
He takes so long that the delay catches up. They can actually just see what he has in the middle of the hand.
If you want me to play quickly, then don't disturb me during the hand. It's good advice as well in general. Unbelievable. Like you wanna have friendly talk, and then you say I'm playing slow. It's unbelievable. This is a joke. It's like a joke.
It's like joke.
Yeah.
I love that.
Can I play my hand, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
We're talking.
Very nice from you.
It's unbelievable, man.
Tough decision. Clock. So that's possible. I don't know. Yeah, it's reasonable.
Floor time.
Standa Goro says when Kabrhel got a good hand, he always wastes time. Something I've noticed. He doesn't do this when he doesn't have it. I think it's he's kind of a tail box.
Completely not true, and it's ridiculous, yeah? It's like ridiculous what's going on here. Please, can you call your supervisor? This is like not normal what's going on here.
It's not normal. You're right.
He wants to see the manager.
You have to. You have to.
Can you get me the manager?
Oh, my gosh.
Nice fold.
Can you call the manager?
Nice raise.
Call your supervisor, he says to the floor man.
So this is blind on blind. It's folded around to Kabrhel, who's kicked it up to 435,000.
Oh, no.
And Jokamainen now with ace-9 of hearts X very quickly with a call.
Easy call.
And a safe flop for Kabrhel. Queen 3-8, 1 heart. Jokamainen does have a backdoor draw. Let's see how long this takes before another clock is called.
Can you get your supervisor? That's just the best. Pete Lawson. If that's the Pete Lawson I'm thinking of, good to hear from you, brother. Thank you.
300,000 now from Kabrhel. Bit of a down bet. Yanni with, you know, the power of ace high and those backdoor draws.
Yeah, ace high here, you're going to look up your opponent raising out of the small blind a lot, especially on a board like this.
And picks up that backdoor flush draw equity. 75% now a favorite for Kabrhel. May not love the fact that there's a queen on board. She's trying to size up Jokamainen, and now he has a decision to make, which means I'm going to go back to the kitchen.
Really only beaten by a queen, so he's trying to decide, you know, of that queens his opponent is defending, is he just smooth calling with how many of those queens? How likely is it he has a queen here?
How long does it take to make a bag of popcorn?
Technically, there's no time. You pop till the kernels stop popping.
I've got plenty of time.
It slows
right?
down.
All right, I'll be back.
I make a lot of popcorn. My girlfriend loves popcorn. Loves it. I've become quite the popcorn expert.
Perhaps we're speeding up. Just as I was about to pop until it stops. Kabrhel now. Turn size bet. 435,000.
Yeah, your opponent has so many 8s in his range here. You have to kind of bet these 10s, 8s, even 3s. He's going to look you up at 3s, 8s, some ace highs as we see.
fine price for Jokamainen, but maybe considering ramping up the aggression. Nearly 2 million in the middle.
Jokamainen just going to call here. Doesn't want to raise out the hands he's beating. Only really gets called if he's beat, has a lot of equity. And backdoors the flush, the nuts.
The crowd goes wild. Kabrhel takes a beat. Jokamainen rivers the ace-high flush.
And it is a backdoor flush, so it's not something you worry too much about when you're sitting here with 2 tens. It is a possibility, but it's not as likely. Looking at the chat, pretty excited. Are they excited for Yoni? Or are they excited for
I
Martin?
think they're pumped up.
Do we have a villain here?
As Kabrhel, see that hand over the cards, is that a check? Now he wiggles the pinky. I think that's a check.
Well, the pinky wiggle,
declared it a check.
pinky wiggle
Yeah.
was a check, but he's got to be careful. That hand is we see people do a hand motion like that to check a lot.
And now Jokamainen. How much? 3.1 in his stack, 2.4 in the middle.
I think
If
we're
we're
going to
trying
see.
to target a queen or perhaps a hand like 2 tens, what's the right amount?
I think we're going to see a small bet, a little less than half pot maybe. I'd probably bet maybe like 1.1, 1 million here myself. Just so often blind on blind, your opponent's hand's not that strong. He did raise coming in, but the raising range there is pretty wide.
2.6.
Ooh, he bets over the pot, 2.6.
is.
It goes for the home run. It's almost all his stack. He only had 3.1 million. It's really tough to get called with this bet unless your opponent has quite a strong hand or thinks you're trying to bluff and represent that flush. The fact that his opponent raised pre-flop,
2.6.
bet the flop and turn, he's giving his opponent some strength here. Leaves a little bit behind.
Yeah,
Maybe
you
wants
have to wonder what bluffs could he have here, you know, using this overbet. A hand like,
Yes.
you know, is it a misdraw? Jack 10, 9, 10. Well, we block those if we're Kabrhel.
Yeah,
right?
It's easier for us because we can see what his opponent has, so we know it's not as strong enough, really, to make this call very often. He still could do it if he really puts Yoni on a bluff. Oop, the pop, when you hear the pop, the multi-pop, usually that's a sign of a fold. That's a weakness.
This is reasonable. Kabrhel actually has a decision to make this time.
Yeah, it's not an easy spot at all. Especially against a player of Yoni's caliber. He could represent him bluff. Could have had something like ace-8 with the ace of hearts. With the 10 of hearts, he blocks like the 10-7, 10 jack of hearts, as you were saying. Those types of hands.
Can you splash the pot?
Notice, though, he's being quiet here, right? When he's super strong, he's usually in there mixing it up.
I'm just waiting for it. Will anybody call clock here?
Funny part is he's kind of wasted his good great. You know, like
Right.
this is a spot where he actually deserves the time to think about it. But it's like the boy who cried wolf. When he does it so often, you kind of lose it when you really need it. Surprised no one's called.
Block.
There it is. Ole Shimeon calls clock.
Unbelievable. What's he looking at over there? He's looking at something.
Perhaps looking at the actual clock and seeing how much time is left in the level. If you were to make this call, he'd be losing 2.6 million from his healthy stack. Still has 9.4 million behind.
He gives it up.
9, 10. Yeah, it's good for the game.
Don't show it.